Be sure to have watched the previous video, part 1, page 116, about a credit card. Here we finished that saying that the average daily balance, when we figured out the average of the ending balance of every day throughout the cycle, was about $23.88.34. So what the credit card company will do is it'll take your daily periodic rate, which is going to be your annual percentage rate, and divide it by the number of days in the year, and it's going to take money from you every day of the year. So they're kind of getting you a couple places here. So the daily periodic rate is going to be the APR, which from our previous page we know was 28.99%. And we're going to divide that by the number of days in a year of 365. This is going to give us a small number, and it's going to get even smaller because we have this as the daily periodic rate as a percentage, and we're going to use that as a decimal to figure out how much they're going to charge. So to determine the finance charge to the nearest cent, they're going to take the number of days and multiply by the daily periodic rate. We need to change that to a decimal. And then multiply it by the average daily balance, which we found at the end of the last video. So the number of days, there's 31 days in the cycle. I'm going to move this decimal place twice to the left to figure out the daily periodic rate as a decimal. So I'm going to have to throw in another 0. So 3 zeros, the 79425. And then times that 2,388 and 34 that we found on the previous page. And this should give us like a little less than 200, maybe a little less than 100, I'm sorry. So it'll be about 58.81. So that's how much extra they're going to charge you for having a balance on their card the whole month. So the new balance that you have to pay off here is going to be that initial balance minus any credits. Remember, that was payments to pay off your bill, or any, like, if you return something, they'll credit it back to your account. Debits are going to be any of those purchases, and then the finance charges, that 51.81 that we just found right above. So the initial balance from the previous page, 2,342.51. There was 150.21 in credits. There was 410.89 in debits, plus that finance charge gives us a total of $2,662.01, and that's what you'd be expected to pay off. The next question says, all right, what percentage is the minimum payment? The minimum payment from the previous page is $93.30. What percentage is it of that new balance? And that will be related, because generally credit card companies like you to pay off a certain percentage of the card. I recommend paying off the entire balance of your card, and that's totally the wrong way. We need to flip these. So it should be $93.30. So what percentage is $93.30 of the $26.62.01? And that will be about 0.035, which is 3.5%. So this credit card company is asking you to pay 3.5% of your bill. Some have minimums of like $25 minimum, but if your credit card's big, a large credit card bill, then they want you to at least pay that off. So we're going to use that down here for Marley. She's got a giant balance here of almost $15,000. And we want to use the same percentage of previous questions, so that 3.5%. So we want to figure out what her minimum payment is. So we're going to take that 3.5%, change it to a decimal so we can multiply it and figure out what 3.5% of her balance is. So 3.035 times 14,677.90. So her minimum payments are going to be $513.73. All right, so if Marley's making those minimum payments and she has that balance, this APR here of 22.75%, we want to figure out how long it's going to take to pay off the current balance, assuming she doesn't add any more charges to her card. And then we want to figure out how much interest she's paying. So we're going to do similar to what we did with the student loans. So we're going to actually figure out N. This is going to be the number of months that it'll take for her to pay this off. We want to figure out her annual interest rate. That's our APR. That's the 2275. The principal value, that's our starting value of our credit card balance. And that is $14,677.90. Payment, her minimum payment is $513.73. Remember, that's going from her to the credit card company, so that is negative there. Future value, just like a loan or credit card, we want this future value to be 0. And then they're expecting you to pay each month. So we have monthly there, and it's not an annuity, so we're paying at the end of the month. So remember how to get here. We go to our apps and then finance and our solver. We're actually going to go find N, but we're going to type everything else in. 22.75, 14,677.90, negative 513.73, 0, 12, 12, 12. If you notice the numbers that were in there before, I'm actually trying to refinance my mortgage. So I'm crunching numbers using my calculator, talking to finance guys. Anyway, back to solving and figuring out how long Marley will need to do this. She'll need approximately 41, and actually, since it's 41 and some change, she'll need 42 months. So that 41.54 will round up. She'll need 42 months to pay off her credit card. And the second question said, how much is that of that is due to interest? So if she's taking 42 months to pay this and $513.73 each month, then she's actually going to be paying $21,576.66 paid overall. But that was only on the credit card balance of $14,677.90. That's the credit card balance. So I'm going to subtract that. That is almost $7,000 extra that she has to pay due to interest. So just like you may have heard me say, start investing early. One of my main things too when talking about money is try and pay off your credit card bill as soon as possible so that you're not just giving away money.